City boy, city boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And you know we gotta go ahead and do a Monday Night Raw review. And, you know, it's kind of hard to do this review because really there's not much to talk about from this episode. You know, some things just...
Why?
Like, some things just never change. You know what I mean? Like, on a weekly, we're getting this pretty much the same exact show. You know, there's a couple of new developments here and there, but really most of tonight was just a bunch of filler. I like the beginning of the show with LA Knight and CM Punk. I like that whole promo, but man, this just after that, and then after the Judgment Day segment, you know, the weekly Judgment Day segment, we have to have one of those, at least one or two of those. So after those two things, you know, the show really just went downhill for me. Right? Like, I was actually praising the show a little bit because the thing is, you know, and we're just pretty much just gonna jump right into it. I don't really have too much of an intro for you because there's like I said, there's not really much to talk about there. I'm going to find some things to talk about as I run through this. But as far as like the overall of the show, there's really not much to talk about, you know? Still no Brock, of course. No explanation of that. But I mean, I guess that's a SmackDown thing. I guess, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure John Cena is just wherever the fuck he wants to be at whenever he wants to be there. So yeah, we got no John Cena and no Brock. That doesn't get carried on. And then outside of that, man, we get pretty much the same finish to every single, you know, thing that happens. You know, like I thought something different might have happened, you know, this week because, you know, Adam Pearce comes out at the end to do what he did, but nah, man, we just get the same shit. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it from the top, man. So we didn't start off with Superstar Walkout, surprisingly, right? We didn't get him at all this week. And, you know, I was just thanking the stars. So, you know, I had to give WWE praise for that, you know, give Triple H praise for that. I'm so tired of seeing motherfuckers walking into the arena with their Starbucks Frappuccinos. And, so we got a recap of what happened last week, with Roman Reigns and, you know, pretty much everything that happened in the main event. And then Michael Cole opens up the show pretty much telling everybody that the scheduled championship match that was supposed to happen between Naomi and Io Sky, I believe, is not going to happen because Naomi is out of commission. She is injured right now. I don't know what the fuck happened. I hope she's okay. I don't know if I doubt that motherfuckers was working a house show. You know, I doubt that, you know what I mean? Because these motherfuckers don't do house shows ever. So I don't know if she got hurt there or whatever the case is. But, you know, I hope she's all right and I hope she comes back safely. Or, you know, you never know if it's a work or not. But I'm pretty sure, you know, she's probably just legitimately injured. Something probably really just happened. But, yeah, so Michael Cole opens up the show, lets us know that. And then we get CM Punk officially open up the show. So CM Punk, he comes out in all his glory and all his, you know, middle-age crisis and all that, you know what I mean? He comes out and the crowd is just going wild. They're out in Quebec City right now and the place is absolutely going stupid for CM Punk. So, you know, he stands around for about 2 minutes while they chant his name and yell and sing his song and all that shit like that. And then we move on, right? CM Punk is sitting here and he's basically saying that he has a Seth Rollins problem. And this is going to be a big theme throughout the night, all right? Everybody, like John Cena came in on Friday and said that he has a Brock Lesnar problem and that Brock Lesnar has a John Cena problem and that everybody in the locker room now has a John Cena problem. But now CM Punk has a Seth Rollins problem. is what he says. He says he needs that match, all right? He feels cheated and all that stuff. He made it to the mountaintop once again after 12 years and all that stuff. You know, the things that you expect CM Punk to say after he spits his line, you know, his opening line. Wow, what a time it is to be alive in Quebec City, right? So all that, you know, he's droning on and doing what he does. And then we get LA Knight. You know, his music hits and LA Knight comes out in all his glory, and the crowd is also going stupid for LA Knight. You know, I'm happy to see LA Knight, but I'm really like, I'm just skeptical of what's going on in this here storyline, but we'll kind of get to that. So LA Knight comes out and he basically tells CM Punk, like, hey man, I understand how you feel. I don't have an issue with you or whatever the case might be, but you did get involved in my match. And all I'm saying is next time, don't get involved in my match. And on top of that, I'm the first in line for a title match because I was the last one cheated. You know, you were cheated, but I was also cheated. So therefore, I deserve my rematch first because I had my rematch or, you know, my match last week and I got cheated. So that's basically what he told CM Punk. And then CM Punk, you know, kind of fires back talking about, you know, I'm the best in the world, this, that, and the other. So it doesn't matter. You know, I've been a champion before. So when it comes to, you know, back of the line, this, that, and the other, you know, you're the one that needs to be at the back of the line. I'm at the front of the line. I created the line or whatever, you know, whatever his line was, right? So LA Knight. And so here's the problem with this promo, because LA Knight's basically trying to say, like, you know, I'm going to win the WWE or the World Heavyweight Championship. You know, I'm going to get it off of him, and then we're going to fight. You're going to be my first successful title defense. And the problem with this is LA Knight is a jobber, right? Like, we have to be honest. I'm sitting here and it's fucked up because of how much I like LA Knight, but I don't believe in what he's saying. And I can tell that Canada as well, Quebec City, does not believe in what LA Knight is selling, because LA Knight, up to this point, he is a loser. Like, he had a couple of stints with the US title. That's cool or whatever. But for the majority part, he's usually getting beat in his matches. He doesn't win a lot of his matches. His matches either end in DQ or with him losing clean. Usually no bullshit. Like, if we're being honest, Triple H likes to bury LA Knight clean every time he loses, or at least most of the time that he loses, you know? So it's really hard for me to sit here and actually believe anything that LA Knight is saying as far as him winning a World Heavyweight Champion. He even says it himself, because of what CM Punk says when he said that, you know, you've never been a world champion. Like, you can't even claim that, bro. And LA Knight's like, yeah, I can't claim that. And, you know, yours was long overdue, 12 years. Mine's way overdue. Like, no, it's not even that it's overdue. Like, you just never done it, bro. Like, you just haven't got there. Every single time that it's your chance, even the most recent, you lost in the King of the Ring. You know what I'm saying? You fucking lost the little gauntlet match that you were in. You lost the Money in the Bank. Everything big. You lost the Royal Rumble. Everything big that's happened this year, you have come out the loser in. Everything big. Every single thing big that you've been in. And it's not just a matter of, you not, your cards not lining up right. No, you just be losing. So that's the one thing. And then another thing about LA Knight that I also wanted to say is I like LA Knight's promos, right? This is my bit of LA Knight critique. The only LA Knight critique that we're going to give on this channel, for real, right? LA Knight needs to start spamming the yeah. In my opinion, I think LA Knight needs to start spamming the yeah. Not necessarily to an extent that Jey Uso, how he spams the yeet. But LA Knight definitely needs to start spamming the yeah more, because the crowd loves to say yeah. But the thing about the crowd, they love to hear LA Knight say yeah even more than they like to say yeah, right? So LA Knight needs to start saying, it doesn't matter if it's after every line, every other line, he just has to incorporate that yeah way more often into what he's saying. And I think that the crowd will be even more invested in what he's saying, because sometimes he gets a little lost in what he's saying. And I think that if he has, if he like breaks it up with the yes and just slows down from time to time, then I think he's gonna, get even more over with the crowd than he already is. If he just has to start spamming that, yeah, it is what it is. Like, that's the kind of culture we're in, where you have to start spamming your catchphrase so that way it can get over even more. Because yeah, it is over, but it needs to be even more over. It needs to absolutely smack down the heat, right? That it just has to. After everybody's promos, everybody needs to be chanting, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how bad it needs to be. So that's what I'm saying. So that's my little bit of LA Knight critique. But, they're just going back and forth. And this, it ends up getting boring because after a while, with a baby face and a baby face in the ring, they can't really say anything scathing to each other, especially in today's WWE for some reason. They can't say anything scathing. So they're just like, oh, I respect you, but I'm next. Oh, I respect you, but I'm next. Oh, I love you, but I'm next. Oh, I love you, but I'm next. I appreciate your career. I appreciate you. I don't have a problem with you, right? It's just a bunch of that, and all that. But then we get Paul Heyman and the boys, Paul Heyman, the Vision, come out, and they come out and basically say, a bunch of platitudes. You know how Paul Heyman does when he comes out, man. Just a bunch of nonsense. Getting the little heat from the crowd, doing his thing. Canada's really giving it to him. And the problem was they took over for 3 minutes straight chanting something. I have no idea what they were saying. I don't know if they were saying something in French. I don't know if they were saying something in fucking Mandarin. I don't know. But I have no idea what they were talking about. But they were chanting something for 2-3 minutes straight. But yeah, Paul Heyman comes out and he basically sets up a match for the end of the night. It's a tag team match. The Braun Brawns versus fucking CM Punk and LA Knight. And it's funny because even Paul Heyman called them the Braun Brawns. I love that CM Punk just dropped it haphazardly one day. He was just called them the Braun Brawns, and it was like an insult. But now everybody calls them the Braun Brawns. At one point, I think Michael Cole called them the Braun Brawns, and now Paul Heyman is calling them the Braun Brawns. Everybody's calling them the Braun Brawns. I guess that is just their tag team name now, the Braun Brawns. Oh my goodness, what? Oh, how far my boy has fallen, Braun Breaker. Damn. But yeah, that's basically what happens. Okay, they set up this match. It was a little sloppy. I will say that. But at least at the very end, there was a lot of good banter and back and forth between LA Knight, CM Punk, and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman. At the very end, you got Braun Breaker yelling at CM Punk like, "You're 47. You're 47 years old. What are you gonna do?" Right? He was like, "You're 40. What are you gonna do? I'll kick your ass." There was some back and forth between them. So at the end of there, it started to come together because now you have heels in the mix, which is what you need. You need heels in the mix. Really, Paul Heyman doesn't need to be there. I'm very upset that I think just give the mic to Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, just let them go at it. And I think that this promo would have been 10,000 times more, more exciting and more engaging. But that's what I thought about this. A little long-winded on that promo, but we got more to get to. So next up, we had a little obligatory backstage Judgment Day segment where, they were just, sitting around talking about what's going to happen with the World Heavyweight Championship. Then Dom walks in and he brought in El Grande Americano. The group is kind of upset, and Dom's like, well, I'm the king of the luchadors, so I was just going to use him to my advantage in the match in Triple Mania and the match tonight. So, and then Finn's like, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm glad he's complimented him on his good idea. And then, Dom walks away. He leads away at El Grande Americano, or Ludwig Kaiser, and, Roxanne and fucking what's-her-face, Raquel, walk up, and he's like, yeah, so go ahead and, figure out what y'all gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Go see if y'all can get a match with Adam Pearce, see if y'all find yourself something to do, is basically what he told him. And they're like, yep, let's go handle business. After this, we move on to where shit just, shit kind of slows down for me, man, because I like this match. I enjoyed pretty much everybody that was in this match. Dragon Lee, AJ Styles, El Grande, Ludwig Kaiser, he's good in the ring. And then you got Dom, right? This is a tag team match. And see, the problem is that it just was too damn long, man. I thought the show so far, because I even liked the Judgment Day segment a little bit. I thought it was okay, just the way that it was, because of how, I like Dom's character. I like his career. He's just a likable guy. They have to give him the microphone more. They have to let him actually say more when they come through in these vignettes and these backstage, these backstage segments. Have more dialogue. Have Dominic say some more, because, he's a very likable guy. And when he actually has a chance to go, then he's fun. And then we move into this match, and like I said, we're at a good pace. I'm enjoying myself. And the match just drags, man. It just drags on and on and on and on and on and on. And until fucking, I forget the finish. I believe it was El Grande Ludwig was putting that steel plate into his mask, and then AJ kicks him at the same time, so he drops the steel plate right next to Dom, who was outside recovering, and Dom had on his luchador mask, or he had it with him, and then he put it on, and then he put the steel plate in his mask, and then fucking AJ Styles, he goes to pin El Grande kicks out at 2, so instead of jumping into the ring and stopping the pin, Dom chances the fact that El Grande Americano may or may not kick out. And then AJ Styles just pops up and Dom just fucking hits him straight in the head, headbutts him straight in the face. And fucking El Grande gets the roll up pin. And that was that, man. I did not enjoy this at all. It took too long, and I did not like the ending of this at all. All right, this was like a fucking 15-minute match, and 15 or 20 minutes. It was a long ass match. There was a couple of commercials break during this match. It was like 2 or 3 commercial breaks during this match. That's how fucking long this match was. But then we move on. There's a little interview. Oh yeah, I did want to talk about this before I moved on. I'm gonna make a separate video about this, but I love how WWE has power scaled AAA and TNA. Like, in AAA right now, Dom is about to fight for their world championship, and fucking TNA, their power level is so fucking low. Their world championship is being fought for by the likes of fucking Trick Williams down in NXT. Like, that's how fucking bad. Like, Triple H and TKO, they have buried these other companies. I mean, not necessarily AAA. I won't say that specifically, because, hey, AAA, they're getting a little bit more exposure. They got a lot more YouTube views on their, on their YouTube channel than I'm sure they're usually getting, right? So that's that, and that's what's up for them. So this is actually beneficial, I would say, for AAA, not so much for TNA. But yeah, and then on top of that, I figured out why El Grande Americano is still being used, even though Chad Gable is like off screen and all that, or injured, or whatever's going on with Chad Gable right now. It's because of how popular he is in Mexico. They made a point to say that El Grande Americano is popular as fuck down there in Mexico. Now, this just goes to show, for all you fucking marks and you fucking fags out there crying, oh, El Grande Americano, he's culturally appropriating, it's not, but down there in Mexico, they fucking love it, nigga. They fucking love it. They're paying a whole lot of money, spending a whole lot of money, getting a whole lot of El Grande Americano merch. So that's why they had to keep that shit going. All right, that's why they moved on to this Ludwig thing. The only thing is, it doesn't really serve the main roster that much, but it does serve them down there in AAA. They're getting that money elsewhere. So that's why they still have El Grande around. But like I say, we move on to fucking Sami Zayn talking with Adam Pearce. He says he wants a world championship match. Sheamus comes in and basically says, hey, I'm gonna still be doing what I was doing last week. Adam Pearce was like, no, you can't be doing what you was doing last week with all that brawling and shit, man. That was fucked up. And then Sheamus is like, who's gonna stop me? Sheamus is like, please, bro. And then Sheamus is like, all right, cool. And then we move on to the most boring match of the night, the match that nobody possibly could fucking care about, and the match that absolutely made no sense. This shit just... Sami Zayn versus Rusev is a fucking 10-minute match that ends in a DQ finish where Sami Zayn gets pulled out of the ring while he's going for the haluva kick on Rusev after he's been whooping Rusev's ass for pretty much most of the match. Most of the match, Sami Zayn was whooping on Rusev. Rusev is a fucking jobber. And then you got Sami Zayn here. He's about to hit the haluva kick on Rusev, and fucking, out of all people, Solo Sikoa hops out of the crowd. I kind of figured too, because I was like, how are they going to get out of this? Because Sami Zayn's not going to get a world title shot. It's just not going to happen right now. So what are they going to do for it? Like, how are they going to get out of this? And the way that they got out of it is by shoehorning a Raw superstar over onto SmackDown and shoehorning him into the United States title picture when there's other people over there like Carmelo Hayes, you know what I'm saying? Like an Andrade, like a Rey Fenix. These guys that could be fighting for this championship and, bringing maybe a little bit of prestige to that United States Championship instead of just the Samoans fighting each other on and off all the fucking time for fucking 10 years straight. That would be nice, right? But no, we don't get that. We get Sami Zayn shoehorned onto Friday Night SmackDown. And then that feud carries over into Monday Night Raw, where Solo Sikoa comes out, fucks up Sami Zayn. The MFTs, they do their thing. You know how it is. And then Sheamus comes out. It's a whole thing where he's fucking up Rusev again. Who cares? We move the fuck on. This segment was absolutely ridiculous. I already figured that we were going to get a fucking United States title match. Because, that's why I tried to, fantasy book. Not even, really fantasy book last week. But I just gave, a little something. They could have did something else to build this up, what they're going to do. But instead, they went this route. And this was the laziest possible route that Triple H could have took. But, hey, what are we expecting at this point? We move on. We got Adam Pearce backstage. And, he's dealing with the whole thing that just happened with Solo and the MFTs coming out, and he's escorting them out of the building. And then the New Day come up. They're demanding that they have, that they get justice against Penta, and then Adam Pearce pretty much just sets up a match between New Day, or not New Day, fucking what's his face, fucking Xavier Woods and Penta next week. But all I could think about is, what are these fools wearing? Why are they dressed like this? That's all I could really think about, man. These guys, man, every week, and honestly, it is what it is. It's over the top, and the same with Bronson Reed and the Shula Fala. I had an issue with it low-key at first, but, it's over the top. It is what it is. I think they should stop at 2, because you can't get your shoes taken 3 times. It's just not good. It's just not good looks for you. If you get your shoes taken 3 times, you might as well find another way home. You know what I'm saying? So, I didn't have necessarily an issue with their outfits per se, but it's just man, this, y'all look gay. Y'all turned heel, and then just y'all were already questionable with the booty-os and the unicorns and all that shit, but now y'all are like Macbeth gay. Y'all are theater kid gay. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we move on. Bronson Reed gets a little vignette where he, I thought that we were about to get an actual explanation here of why he's in the group. But of course we don't get that. We just got the same little shit that we got, before from hit Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins, and Paul Heyman, where he just says, I attacked Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins respected me enough, saying that he decided to bring me into the fold. That's why I'm here. And now I'm going to beat, I'm going to schoolyard bully Roman Reigns. I'm going to take his shoes. I'm going to keep taking his shoes until I take everything that he has and all this stuff. But we don't believe him. You know what I mean? Like, Bronson Reed is just not a believable guy. Not with the music that they have behind him. I just don't believe in Bronson Reed at all. That's just my personal opinion. I know that there's people that like him, but I just don't see it. I just don't really see anything in him, especially as from a promo ability. With a good manager, not Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman sucks, but I think with a good manager, he could actually, be something, maybe potentially. But at this point, I have not seen what anybody else is seeing in him. So we move on. We have a match between Roxanne Perez and Io Sky. I did not care about this match at all. The way that it ends is basically the Kabuki Warriors, because before the match, they had a little segment where they were asking Io, hey, do you want us to come out there and help you during your match, even the odds, make it fair? And they're broken up English, you know what I'm saying? Make it fair? I come out and make it fair? And Io's like, no, I do it on my own. Okay, I do it on my own. And then we move on. It kind of reminded me of that fucking scene from, I think it was 2K23, WWE 2K23, where like you're in that bullshit faction with Gabriel Slade, and you have to like choose between Legacy and you're like a bullshit version of Evolution, and a bullshit version of fucking the Hurt Business. You could choose either MVP or Randy Orton, right? And there was this one part of the game that I stopped playing at. This is when I just pretty much just gave up on 2K, period, like as a whole, and just haven't bought a WWE or 2K game since then. It came to a point where there was a scene where I was about to go into a match with people that I knew that I was going to be outnumbered. And me as a person, if I'm getting to make my own choice, if I know that I'm going into a situation where I'm outnumbered, never in life will I ever be like, no, all right, I'm not going to accept the help. No, I'm always going to be like, yeah, come on out. You know what I mean? If my homies want to come out and help, then I'm going to come out and help. But the game gave you two choices, not an actual choice, but it gave you two choices. And the choices were, thank you, but, and what, you don't believe in me? Those were the two choices that you got. When I saw that those were my two choices and that I couldn't choose to have these guys come out there with me so that way I could keep my IC championship, that was it for me. I was completely done with that game because I already knew that I was going to lose, and they were going to force some drama through me losing, and that's how they were going to force the drama between the group. I was not down with it. I didn't fuck with it at all. That's when I turned that shit off. And that's what that little segment reminded me of. And then during this match, Io Sky, she's, getting her ass whipped basically by Roxanne. The Kabukis, they come out and try to help her. But instead of helping her, they accidentally aid in her loss. So Roxanne ends up winning by a roll-up. And Io is upset with these guys. Who cares? Jey Uso, he has an interview where he's like, yeah, I was gone last week, but I'm back, I had to take care of some family issues, yeet, and then LA Knight comes in and he's like, hey man, I hear you over here talking about the World Heavyweight Championship, and that's fine or whatever, but you got to get to the back of the line or whatever. And then Jey Uso's like, man, the front of the line, the back of the line, the side of the line over there, across the line, doesn't matter, okay? I'm in the line. All right, I am the line. Whatever the fuck he said. Whatever his line was. And then, he says Monday Night Uso yeet. And I thought that I thought it was a flub. I thought he misspoke or some shit. But no, he said Monday Night Uso or Monday Night Raw or some shit like that. And Michael Cole or Corey Graves, one of them, they repeated them. They were like, yeah, I guess it's Monday Night Raw. I was like, no, you're not going to get that shit to stick, buddy. But after that, we got, a little segment where Asuka and Io Sky, they fought, you know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about this. they already were broken up like for a while, like they just disappeared, like they just stopped being friends or stopped being a part of the group because Asuka was gone, so they just don't have people on TV when they're injured at all. So Asuka was gone, fucking Kairi Sane was gone, like they were already like broken up, so this whole storyline coming in now, it doesn't matter, right? So but they're fighting, and what's her face? Fucking Asuka, she pushes Io and she just runs away, and fucking Kairi Sane follows Asuka, leaving Io there alone. And we move on. The Vision, they are backstage. Seth Rollins is there. He is rambling on about absolutely nothing. Okay, he's saying that they're on top of the world, they're flying private jets, and I mean, I won't say he's rambling on, because this was something, right? Because I always ask for this. Give me something that the World Heavyweight... They didn't directly attribute it to the World Heavyweight Championship, but they did say that, you know, they're flying private jets, you know what I'm saying? They're in the limousines, they're doing the whole thing, and they're on top of the world. And Seth Rollins, you know, he gives his orders and whatnot, but you got to give me a little more. That's the point. That was the problem. That was my problem throughout the entire night. All these interactions, they felt way too short-lived, right? Of course, we don't want to get to a point in a wrestling show where, like, you know, how it was, like, maybe like a little less than a decade ago, where like you would turn on a show and it'd be like 80% backstage and 20% in the ring. I don't want that necessarily, right? I definitely want more action in the ring, but I do want more dialogue. Like, give me more so I can hold on, you know, something I can hold on to, people that I can actually connect with. And we just don't get that, man, because everybody, they start saying something and then it has to be cut short because, oh, we got a commercial break coming up. You know what I mean? Like, shit, I bought like 30 Snickers, you know what I mean, during this show because of how fucking much they advertise them. I just gave in. I just said, fuck it. You know what I mean? Had to go on a binge run for the Snickers. After Seth Rollins does that whole little thing, Bayley has like a vignette, and might I say, by God, look at them yitties. But basically Bayley was just in this promo saying, like, you know, I've been fucking up, I've been losing, you know, I've never felt like this in my career before. I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I don't have a title. I don't have any wins. Everything I do sucks. You know what I mean? I haven't been proud of myself in a long time, and I don't know what to do now. And then at the end, like, it's like the feed starts getting like distorted and whatnot. So I guess Bayley is about to start going psycho, about to start going crazy. I guess, I don't know, you gotta do something with her, right? Either fire her or do something with her. She has to, because something has to change, because nobody cares about Bayley right now. Then we move into a Lyra Valkyria interview, and then we move on from that, because who the fuck cares, all right? She just says that it's not her fault that Bayley feels like that. And then after that, Io Sky, she's backstage. She runs into Stephanie Valkyr, who just says one line and runs off. Like, I didn't even get a chance to screen cap it because of how fucking fast she ran off. She was like, you're not the only one who was promised a title shot. And then she just runs off, right? And then Io keeps walking. Then she runs into Rhea. And Rhea's like, oh, look, I know, you know, what happened. Like, you should have won that match. Or, you know, you had a chance. And, you know, Io's like, oh, I know what you're going to say. Roxanne should have beat me. And then she's like, no, I think you could have won if the Kabukis weren't out there and they didn't fuck with you. If they just let you do what you had to do, you know. And then Rhea's like, but are you sure that you can trust those Kabuki bitches? And Io's like, I know what you are doing, and I am not falling for it. Don't worry about it. And then she walks away and starts speaking Japanese. Like, bro, you can't do this. This is not, like, this is American TV right here, bro. Like, you can't have this. Especially without subtitles, bro. You can't have this. Because people are not about to fucking pull out their phone to try to figure out what the hell Io Sky is talking about. And she's over here speaking broken fucking English. And there's multiple women. There's so many women, especially down there in NXT. Fine ass women that could be in this exact same storyline, doing this exact same shit that the Kabukis are doing, but they can be doing it in English, and it could hit, it would land a whole lot better because it's actually, something that we can understand. And I mean, yeah, we can understand through actions, and that's what they're trying to do. I appreciate Asuka because of how over the top she is, and she really tries to, make up for her shortcomings when it comes to her speaking the English language. And I can appreciate that from Asuka, so I always give her credit for that. But you can't have this shit, man. Like, this is just, it just makes bad TV, bad American TV. We cannot understand this shit. But, she walks away, she stands and looks on, whatever. Then we move on to the main event, LA Knight and CM Punk versus the Braun Brawns. And this match was fun. I enjoyed the fuck out of this match. I'm not even going to sit here and hold you. This night was a very long and a struggle to get through. But at the end of the day, there was also a match between Becky and Maxine Dupree, but nobody cares. Becky won. LA Knight and CM Punk, I could tell they were having fun in this match. This was a good match to have. This was an acceptable main event match. All right. I knew exactly how it was going to end, but for the time being, I just wanted to enjoy it for what it was. And it was fun seeing LA Knight in there. The crowd was just ridiculously behind them. And CM Punk and LA Knight in the ring together, like, they actually kind of worked, right? As a tag team, they were in there. They worked well together. I think that could be like a 2-man power trip kind of thing. If LA Knight could actually win some fucking championship gold, if he could win a world championship, that could be a really good 2-man power trip right there, because they worked together well. They had good chemistry when they were on the microphone earlier in the night. It's just they had nothing to say because all they were saying was, I'm next in line. But besides that, they had good chemistry on the mic. So like this could work, but you just don't want to put these guys in like the tag team division. It would have to be a domination type of thing. We're going after all the gold type of thing. But we already know Triple H is not. He is not keen on doing something like that, because that would be, that would actually take creativity and stuff like that. So, like I said, yeah, this match was fun. It obviously ended how we thought it was going to end, with Seth Rollins coming out while CM Punk is getting ready to pick up the potential victory. He's looking like he's going to get ready to hit the GTS. We never get to see that, though, because Seth Rollins comes out and then they start beating him down. Here comes Adam Pearce after the beat down, and Adam Pearce basically says, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. I pretty much figured. So why didn't you ban Seth Rollins from coming out here? But whatever, right? So he said he knew this was going to happen. So he's going to have Seth Rollins go up against Jey Uso. The crowd goes wild. LA Knight. The crowd goes wild. And CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash in Paris. And hey, man, LA Knight's in a match at Clash in Paris. I can't be too upset about that. But I just don't like the way that this all came together. Jey Uso just got shoehorned in there at the last moment because I guess Roman Reigns, he was just like, fuck this, I'm not coming back. I'm just going to go off and just film this movie now. I mean, they had to know that this was going to happen, but I don't like the way that they just wrote Roman off. And then the next week, they throw Jey in. Why wasn't Jey there last week? He says that he was working, he had family business, but we all know that that's kayfabe bullshit, right? Why wasn't Jey there last week in order to, be there to, like, at least help up Roman? You know what I mean? Maybe something happened to Jey in the back where he got out there late. He tried to help up Roman, and Roman was like, do what you got to do. Something, give us something. But no, just shoehorn Jey in there, and now we have these guys. It's going to be, I hope, a good match. It is what it is, man. Yeah, this episode, I didn't think it was the worst episode, but it was just a hard one to get through, man. I give this one a 3 out of 10. We got a whole lot of LA Knight. Yeah. All right. And you can never be too upset about that. So, let me know what y'all thought about this show down in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you want to hear some more. And this has been your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.